In the year 2070, the Earth that our ancestors once knew had long been transformed into a wasteland of shattered dreams and twisted metal. Once proud metropolises lay in ruins beneath a bruised sky, and the silence of desolation was broken only by the echo of distant explosions and the howling winds of change. Amid this chaos, a hardened band of American soldiers moved as one through the wreckage, a ragtag, determined unit clad in high-tech, battle-worn armor that bore scars of endless conflict. At their side, fiercely loyal dogs, creatures whose eyes burned with uncanny intelligence and whose instincts had been honed into assets for survival, paced with quiet vigilance. Together, these warriors and their canine companions faced an enemy from beyond the stars, grotesque, monstrous aliens whose very presence warped the air around them. The colossal pale moon overhead cast long shadows over desolate streets and collapsed structures, as if illuminating humanity's last desperate struggle. Every step through cracked concrete and twisted steel was a stand against fate. Every heartbeat echoed the resolve to protect what remained of a once great civilization. In that dark hour, the survival of the human spirit sparkled like a lone lantern in a forgotten city. For the soldiers, every mission, every skirmish was imbued with the memory of a better past and the hope of a future reclaimed from the clutches of alien tyranny. The war had drawn new lines in the dust of time, separating the brave from the resigned, and the defenders of humanity resolved that they would never surrender. They moved with a solemn grace born of desperation and unwavering resolve, knowing that the outcome of this last stand would shape the destiny of their planet.
As night deepened its hold over the desolated urban battlefield, the enemy made its presence known in a frenzy of predatory movement. The monstrous aliens, their forms a nightmarish blend of sinew and alien technology, surged from the ruins in relentless waves. Every screech, every guttural cry of these beings was an assault on the ears and the spirit. The soldiers, standing in tight formations amid the broken remnants of glass and concrete, exchanged terse commands through crackling comlinks. Bullets and energy blasts carved arcs of deadly brilliance through the darkness, each spark and explosion a defiant counter to the encroaching terror. In the melee, the canine units, alert and agile, darted forward with astounding precision, their bark a war cry that mingled with the cacophony of the fight. These dogs, each fitted with cybernetic enhancements and protective gear, acted as scouts and shock troopers, ferreting out hidden threats lurking beyond the piles of debris. Amid the chaos, the soldiers honed their focus on tactical movements, executing pre-planned maneuvers with a synchronicity born of years spent in training and combat. The night became a tapestry of fiery bursts and shadowy figures, illuminated intermittently by the glare of plasma weapons and the unyielding light of the moon above. While the alien horde pressed in relentlessly, the determination in every soldier's eyes and the unspoken bond between man and animal transformed despair into a resolute, collective anger. There was no retreat, no surrender, only the fierce will to reclaim their soil from creatures that defied nature and reason. Every explosion, every clash of metal was a testament to humanity's resilience, even as the enemy's monstrous silhouettes flickered along the ruins like phantoms out of a dystopian nightmare.
In the midst of this swirling battle, Sergeant Michael "Hawk" Hawkins found a moment of introspection amid the relentless storm of war. His drop-shadowed face, marked by soot and determination, told a story of losses that went far beyond the fallen comrades scattered on ruined streets. Hawk's mind wandered to a time before the invasion, a time of laughter, of family dinners beneath a warm, unobscured sky, and now every memory was both a comfort and a torment.
The cadence of his armored boots on shattered pavement echoed the beat of a distant past, and in that echo he could almost hear the soft purr of his childhood dog, a reminder of loyalty and unyielding devotion. Yet each recollection steeled his resolve. The pain of loss was transmuted into an unbreakable determination to resist the alien plague. As he reloaded his energy rifle with practiced precision, the acrid smoke and ember trails of recent carnage blurred his vision, replaced momentarily by the visage of a father, a friend, a symbol of what humanity stood to lose. Surrounding him, fellow soldiers fought like specters in the gloom, every man and woman a beacon of stubborn defiance against the grotesque beings that sought to snuff out life entirely. In the reflective stillness of that split second, Hawk embraced the paradox of war. In the midst of death and despair, the smallest memories could kindle the greatest fires. Even as alien claws scraped against armored shields and distant explosions reverberated like thunder, his internal vow resonated across the chaos, that no sacrifice, no matter how vast, would be in vain if it meant preserving the fragile spark of hope for the next generation.
Not far from Hawk's small circle of reflection, the canine units proved themselves to be indispensable allies in this bleak contest of survival. The leader of the pack, a battle-hardened German shepherd named Zeus, with cybernetic eyes glowing in a steady amber, dashed boldly into the thick of the enemy's advance. His powerful muscles rippled under reinforced hides that bore the scars of previous clashes, and every leap was purposeful, a calculated act of defiance against beings beyond imagination. As Zeus charged, he was followed by his loyal companions. Agile and fearless, each dog exhibited a blend of primal instinct and engineered precision. Their barks and snarls harmonized with the soldiers' commands, providing both early warnings and a surge of adrenaline to the beleaguered human defenders. In one heart-stopping moment, when an alien's tentacle wrapped around a fallen comrade, a smaller dog with unwavering courage lunged forward, snapping free the gauntlet of death with jaws that echoed with ancestral ferocity. The synergy between man and beast was palpable, each fighter's life intertwined with the other in an unspoken pact of loyalty and mutual survival. Their coordinated maneuvers not only repelled the immediate threat, but also sent a resounding message to the enemy. Human resilience, bolstered by the purity of animal instinct, would not be subdued by alien might. In the twisted ballet of combat, every canine act of bravery inspired the soldiers to fight on, reinforcing the belief that even in a world teetering on the brink of annihilation, hope could take many forms. As the relentless battle ground on, the urban landscape itself seemed to rebel against its ravaged state, a cruel, distorted mirror reflecting the inner turmoil of its defenders. Towers that once loomed as symbols of human progress now lay crippled, their jagged remnants jutting toward the ashen sky like broken teeth in a monstrous grin. Amid the rubble and swirling ash, tactical commands rang out, punctuating the cacophony of war. Lieutenant Carter, a strategist renowned for his cool demeanor under pressure, orchestrated a series of maneuvers that sought to funnel the alien horde into a kill zone. With each precise volley from futuristic laser rifles and plasma grenades, the tide of the battle momentarily shifted. The soldiers, though exhausted by hours of unyielding combat, fought with an almost supernatural drive, a fierce declaration that the spirit of humanity would not buckle under the weight of extinction. Sparks danced through the night as energy pulses carved through alien flesh, and every concussion in the scarred streets became a heartbeat of resistance. Even as the monstrous foes adapted, evolving in their unpredictable ferocity, the human contingent retaliated with cunning ingenuity, blending high-tech weaponry with raw, visceral courage.
Amid collapsed arches and twisted debris, every soldier found themselves becoming a living testament to the resilience of a species unwilling to fade quietly into history. The smoke-filled air, heavy with the iron tang of spent munitions, carried whispers of past victories and future promises, as if the city itself conspired with those defending it, a final, desperate stand against unfathomable darkness.
In the heart of this maelstrom, desperation gave birth to innovation. As the fighting raged on, whispers of a potential weakness in the alien enemy circulated among the ranks. A young communications specialist, Private Elena Torres, had stumbled upon intercepted transmissions hinting at an anomalous energy frequency within the monstrous invaders, a vulnerability hidden deep within their biomechanical composition. Working feverishly in a makeshift operations tent constructed amid the remnants of a shattered government building, Elena, battered but unbowed, pieced together the fragments of alien data with a determination rivaling that of the soldiers on the front lines. Her comrades, though hardened by constant warfare, paused to listen as she detailed a daring counteroffensive that hinged on exploiting this unexpected chink in the enemy's armor. Across the battlefield, the canine units, led by Zeus and his vigilant pack, continued their fearless patrols. Their acute senses, now attuned not just to the physical presence of the enemy, but also to subtle fluctuations in energy and movement, became the living extension of Elena's discoveries. The idea of a synchronized strike, melding the precise timing of the soldiers with the rapid responses of the cyber-enhanced dogs, ignited a spark of hope. Plans were hastily made to shift from a static defense to an agile, targeted assault, designed to disrupt the alien command structure and seize the moment of vulnerability. As dusk edged closer to dawn, every heartbeat in the beleaguered ranks thumped with renewed purpose, a final, desperate gambit to reclaim their planet from the grasp of cosmic invaders. In that crucible of innovation and valor, the fusion of human intellect and animal instinct promised a turning point in the war, a fleeting chance to reclaim not only territory, but the dignity of a broken civilization.
The fragile coalition of soldiers and their devoted canines advanced as one, navigating the ravaged urban labyrinth where each broken corridor and scarred avenue bore witness to relentless strife. Amid this orchestrated chaos, individual acts of heroism unfolded that would be etched into the annals of a new legend. Captain Jackson, a battle-hardened leader known for his unwavering presence in the face of overwhelming odds, spearheaded a daring incursion into a cluster of crumbling skyscrapers that had become a nest for alien sentinels. Alongside him, Specialist Renee Black maneuvered through the darkened passages with a determined stride, her voice steady as she directed both infantry and the agile dogs with tactical precision. In one particularly harrowing encounter, a group of alien warriors ambushed a flank, and without hesitation, a brave soldier threw himself into the fray, his energy shield flaring as he absorbed an onslaught meant for his comrades. Near that critical moment, Zeus and a smaller but no less formidable canine, aptly named Apollo, intercepted a creeping tendril of alien technology that sought to entrap a wounded teammate. The act was lightning fast, a blur of teeth, claws, and pure instinct that not only repelled the threat, but unified the unit's spirit. Each soldier, scarred by the brutality of war, found in these moments the human capacity for selflessness and sacrifice. The cacophony of clashing forces, the crackle of alien bioenergy, and the urgent commands shared over comms melded into a symphony of defiance that resonated through every ruined corridor. In silent acknowledgement of their sacrifices, both man and dog fought with renewed fervor, each victory a precious spark against the encroaching darkness that sought to permanently engulf their world.
When the first hints of the aliens' concealed vulnerability began to manifest in the heat of battle,
the fragile balance on the field of war began to shift. Amid swirling clouds of smoke and the relentless barrage of plasma rounds, the soldiers, emboldened by Private Torres's deciphered intelligence, initiated a coordinated counterstrike. With precise timing honed by despair and necessity, teams of gunmen and canine scouts converged on designated enemy strongholds. Trails of phosphorescent energy illuminated the night, marking the paths along which the combined force moved like a well-oiled war machine. Each explosion resonated with the hope of reclaiming a lost future, and every shattered alien exoskeleton testified to the efficacy of the new strategy. In one pivotal moment, as a squad led by Lieutenant Carter engaged a cluster of biomechanical monstrous foes, the synchronized actions of Zeus's pack turned the tide. Their rapid, coordinated attacks disrupted the enemy's internal energy flow, causing contained, cascading failures in the creature's systems. The impact was both spectacular and devastating. The aliens staggered, their unnatural vigor faltering as if gripped by an unseen force. Shouts of triumph and determination reverberated amid the ruined streets, while tactical officers recalibrated their maneuvers to exploit the fleeting advantage. Even as more of the alien ranks swarmed in an almost desperate bid to reassert their dominance, the fusion of technology and natural instinct had granted the human contingent a resounding edge. The field of battle was littered with fallen foes, their monstrous forms now inert in the wake of a counterstrike that bridged the gap between human ingenuity and the primal power of nature. In the midst of that chaos, each soldier and every faithful dog carried forward the hope that, against all astronomical odds, their unified will could overturn the tide of an interstellar onslaught. As the renewed offensive gathered momentum, the very fabric of the battlefield transformed into a theater of epic confrontation. In a grim tableau against the backdrop of a smoldering, broken cityscape, the alien command structure manifested in a towering monstrosity, a creature that defied the grotesque logic of its kin. This abomination, with sinews of dark energy and a myriad of contorted, chitinous limbs, emerged as the embodiment of the enemy's malice. Every pulse of its unnatural heart sent shockwaves that rippled through the crumbling avenues, and its eyes burned with a predatory intelligence that froze even the most battle-hardened soldier in his tracks. Captain Jackson, his voice resolute despite the terror that clutched at his heart, marshaled his unit for a final, desperate onslaught. Side by side, the soldiers, emboldened by memories of fallen friends and driven by a fierce commitment to humanity's survival, surged toward the towering foe. Zeus and Apollo led the canine vanguard, their movements a fluid dance of precision and valor, darting through swirling clouds of bioenergy and shattered concrete. Each explosive volley of plasma and every sustained burst from laser weaponry met the alien behemoth's hide with sparks and flares, illuminating the night in bursts of infernal light. The combat was brutal and elemental, a clash of titanic wills, where every breath, every heartbeat was a war against oblivion. Amid the chaos, acts of individual valor shone with piercing brilliance. A young private sacrificed himself to shield his platoon from a lethal tendril, and a seasoned veteran rallied his comrades with a cry that transcended pain and loss. In that final, nerve-wracking confrontation, as human resolve collided with extraterrestrial might, the battleground became a crucible where the very future of Earth was being forged in fire and sacrifice.
When at last the monstrous alien command fell silent, its towering form collapsing slowly in a cascade of flickering energy and shattered armor, a stillness fell over the ravaged ruins of Earth. The dust of battle mingled with the soft, hopeful rays of an emerging dawn, painting the bleak horizon with hues of fragile gold and tender promise. Survivors, both human and canine, gathered amid the remnants of war, their faces etched with sorrow for lost comrades, yet illuminated by the spark of a renewed future. In the aftermath, as the echoes of strife faded into solemn silence, the soldiers took time to honor every sacrifice and cherish each memory of bravery amid darkness. Captain Jackson, his gaze drifting over the scarred landscape, spoke softly of resilience and the eternal duty to rebuild what had been torn apart, not merely with bricks and steel, but with the communal bonds that had emerged from their shared nightmare. The loyal dogs, ever watchful, rested at their master's feet, embodying a silent pledge to continue the guardianship of this battered planet. In that quiet moment of reflection, the survivors held tightly to the belief that from the ashes of devastation, hope could blossom anew. The war had been a crucible that tested the limits of human spirit and the steadfast loyalty of creatures who defied nature's order for the sake of friendship. Now, with the alien threat vanquished, if only for a chance, and the horizon illuminated by a delicate yet undeniable promise of renewal, humanity embraced its future with cautious optimism. The legacy of this last stand was not one of endless agony, but a testament to an indomitable will to survive, to honor the fallen, and to rebuild a world where the embers of compassion and courage would forever ignite the dawn of a new era.